And that is why women are generally more intimate than men, generally. Because they mostly feel softer. And that's why it's so obvious to any man that when a woman is faking intimacy. It'll be through their tone. It'll be through their lack of feeling. Through their lack of touch. The words by themselves, without the energy, don't bring intimacy. It's that moment of exchange that does it. The slightest touch. And if you're someone who likes to touch your partner because it's a habit, such as so many people do in bed, but there's no exchange of feeling, that's not intimacy. Habit. It requires specific effort at moments in time to bring yourself close to your partner. One of the sad things, so many people who have an interest in this topic have an interest because they've had so little intimacy. And they've had so little intimacy because of failed relationships or staying in a relationship that is failed. Or they've never found who they are and what they want and who they want to be with. And that could include their own sexual pursuits. So, for example, if they're in a homosexual relationship but they're not homosexual. Or if they're in a heterosexual relationship but they're homosexual. There's going to be no intimacy. And they're going to become hard. And the harder you become, the less intimacy you'll have. It's quite strange to watch people in a relationship that they shouldn't be in, showing little to no intimacy. But then they will with their animal, usually a dog. They will. Can you imagine how that must drive the other partner crazy? And how jealous they'll become of the dog. And they'll blame all sorts of factors for the dog's behavior, but it's just jealousy. Because one is giving to an animal what they want. So the lack of intimacy causes so much emotional problems and damage. For those of you who have lacked intimacy in your life, did you sit down and say, I need more intimacy? Or did you find things to accuse your partner of because you weren't able to acknowledge what it is that you're really lacking? We're back to the same themes, aren't we? Avoidance, honesty. Intimacy is not perpetual. It is small moments that are cumulative, out of which goodness grows. Because each moment of sharing, of intimate sharing, puts yourself into a bucket from which can be drawn at any time. It doesn't dissipate. The problem is when the bucket's empty and stays empty. There's nothing to sustain you when something goes wrong. So therefore, what are we saying? The lack of effort in relationships is a gross laziness. There's a lack of teaching. And it's so sad. These things become apparent only. There's a relationship breakup or about to be a breakup. And they can't talk about it. And it might come out in the presence of a counselor. It might. But by then, usually it's the man who becomes so entrenched in their position of defensiveness, lost in their need for lust, that they can't see it.